Hello everyone, this is Dr. Achal and I welcome you all in our subject module of the services marketing. So, previously we have dealt with the concept of the development of the new services. What are the important sequential steps which you as a marketer has to take into consideration before launching your product in the full-fledged form in the market area. In today's discussion, we will be dealing with another topic, and that is all being related with the positioning of the services. Before proceeding it with the concept, we know that as the services, they are basically intangible in nature, they are invariable, heterogeneous and they are inconsistent. We as a provider, we are not being able to inventorize them, we are not being able to store it. So, as the production is happening, similarly when the production is going to happen, in case of the services, the consumption is also simultaneously going to happen. So, positioning of the services, the concept of positioning of the services, it is all being related with creating a unique brand image of your offerings, and that unique brand image is somewhat being different as compared to the competitor's product. You are trying to place out the position of your offering into the minds of the prospect in such a way that the prospects themselves, they are lured enough to buy out your product. Now, we know that positioning is also one of the strategy that is being pursued by the marketer or the service provider, and before moving in for the concept, it should be very much being clear by the firm that the firm should be able to craft out and design out their strategies in terms of the positioning, that they do not have to incur any additional kind of the doses of the advertisement or any additional kind of the doses of the promotional appeal. So, positioning of the services, if it is done in a very efficient, in a very diligent way, definitely the business organization will try to save a lot amount of the expenditure which is being incurred in the promotion of their offerings. So, let us proceed with the slides. Now, here the slide says that the positioning of the services and it deals with that as the service industry expands and the changes, it is important for the business to set themselves apart from their competitors. Service positioning is a marketing approach aimed at establishing a distinct brand identity that resonates with the customers. So, in this lecture, we will discuss the concept of the service positioning, its significance and how the business can use it for the purpose of gaining out the profitable gains. As it is being written in the slide that the concept of the service positioning or positioning of the services, it is very much being important enough to realize it or to position out your offerings very beautifully, very diligently, very efficiently, because we are surviving in this competitive scenario. We are living in this intense competition. So, as the competition is growing rapidly by leaps and bounds, we are sometimes it is being said that we have to face out the situation of the cutthroat competition, but the cutthroat competition is somewhat, it is in a competition which is not very much being beneficial for any company. So, as in a business organization, as in a marketer, we have to just ensure that whenever we are expanding, whenever we are growing and we are expanding and we are diversifying, but at the same point of time, it has to be borne into the mind by the marketers that they have to set themselves apart from their rivals. They have to stand out apart, they have to stand out and they have to craft out such a strategy which is unique in nature, as distinct from the rest of the competitors who are dealing in the same line of the business, or there may be a situation wherein the competitors are there, but indirectly they are threatening you out, they are giving out threat challenges for you. So, as in a provider, as in a business organization, you have to just ensure that a unique distinct identity of your offerings is being created and it is being positioned into the minds of the prospects, so that the prospects themselves are being lured to buy out your product, because the motivation, the way of persuading them, the way you make them aware, and then after the awareness is being created, you are just trying to give them certain kind of mechanism, certain kind of motivation factors being created between the buying behavior which is being shown by the target audience. Then all these kind of efforts that is being channelized by the marketer, they in turn incur certain kind of cost, they in turn incur certain kind of expenditure to talk of. Now, so as to just minimize those kind of expenditures on the promotional outlays, in the form of the promotional outlays or in the form of the any extra doses of advertisement, either through the print media or the broadcast media or the digital content, these can be saved to a greater extent when we as a marketer, when we as a service provider, we are just trying to position out their offerings in a very beautiful and in a very good kind of way. So it is being written here in the slide that the service positioning is in a marketing approach, and it is being aimed at establishing a distinct brand identity that is very much being aligned with the customer's expectations. We know that many times we have discussed the same fact that all our effort as a marketer, as a producer, or as in a service provider, all our efforts are being generated, they are being created and crafted in such a way that they are meeting up to the expectations and aspirations of the target audience. Here also we have to just ensure that our offerings, offerings in the sense of not only the physical commodity, we are limiting our discussion towards the services. So here our personalized services or the customization that we are trying to give to the customers should be of such a form wherein, so as we are discussing about the concept of the positioning of the services, we know that we are surviving in this competitive scenario. So it is very much being important enough for each and every service firm, for each and every service provider, that they are trying to create a distinct identity of their offerings, and that is a distinct enough, that is a unique enough, very much being resonated enough with the meeting out the expectations and the aspirations of the target audience. We have said that as in a marketer, we have to ensure that our efforts should not only be being limited towards meeting out the expectations and the aspirations of their target audience, but we have to ensure that apart from the target audience, we have to convert our prospects into our present customers. So there are certain kind of prospects, or there are certain kind of individuals who are not moving in for the purchase decision of our offerings, but if we have tried to efficiently position out the image of our offerings into the minds of the prospects, then definitely the prospects will be in the future course of action, they will be turning out as present customers for us in the future course of action. So that is why the positioning of the services is very much being important enough. And moving on to the next slide says the same fact that the service positioning involves creating a unique and recognizable image of a service brand in the customer's mind. This strategy enables the business to stand out from the competitors and effectively convey the value they provide to their target audience. As the service industry continues to grow, effective positioning of the services has become crucial for gaining out a competitive advantage. So the same thing that we are saying again, that it is very important and significant to create a distinct image, of your offerings. The offerings here is referred to as an intangible deeds. It may also be referred to as intangible efforts, or the associations, or the intangible benefits which the service providers are trying to channelize out to the target audience. It is having a significant and a profound impact when the buyers are and when the customers are moving for the purchase decision, because here, if they have learnt or if they have experienced out a delightment factor in the purchase process, and after the purchase process they have consumed out that particular kind of service or the offering which the provider has given out to them in the form of the personalization, in the form of the customization, then definitely that delightment will lead towards building out in a customer loyalty. And we know that if the customers are having out a feel of delightment, they have faced out the feeling of delightment, that delightment will lead towards building out in a customer loyalty, and that loyalty will be leading eventually towards the development of the goodwill. Now we know that the the customers who are loyal enough, they will be customers who will be falling out in the category of the hardcore loyalist, and hardcore loyalists are the consumers or the customers which will keep on purchasing out your products again and again. They will be consuming out your offerings again and again in the future course of action, because they are very much being delighted enough with their purchase process and with the consumption of the offerings that you have given out to them. So we are expanding our business, continuously being evolving. We are diversifying our area of operation, not only in terms of the product line, not only in terms of adding out the more items in your product line, keeping into consideration that we are diversifying our product portfolio. We are also trying to explore out the new market avenues. Similarly, the market size is growing in terms of the expansion of the customer size. So here, keeping all these factors into mind, the marketers and the service providers has to just ensure that their offerings are of such a nature that a distinct and a real kind of unique selling proposition is being created. Then only they will be in a position to gain out a profitable gains, because they are showing out a competitive advantage. And that competitive advantage is as distinct from the advantage which the rivals are showing out in the market area. Now moving to the next slide. This slide shows the significance or the importance of the service positioning, and it is being written here that service positioning is essential as it allows the business to stand out in a competitive marketplace. It enables them to convey the unique value proposition to their target audience, differentiate themselves from the rivals and build a strong brand identity. Without a clear service positioning strategy, business may become overshadowed and face challenges in attracting and retaining customers. Now, this slide gives you the fact that here why the positioning of the services is important. We know that if we just go back towards recalling out the concept of the services, we know that the services here, they are having certain kind of unique characteristics which are not being found in the case of the manufacturing of the physical commodities, or in case of the purchase and the consumption of the physical commodities. So, as the services are very much being unique enough in terms of their perishability, in terms of their intangibility factor, in terms of their it cannot be inventorized, it cannot be stored for a later use. Similarly, it is inconsistent, it is invariable. So, all these factors or all these features in turn, they add on towards making us more vulnerable to position out this particular kind of unique offering. So, here this vulnerability can be removed if we are just trying to create a unique distinct image, and what this distinct image will be created, how this distinct image will be created, that is basically an art and a craft that is being used by the marketer, service marketer, the service provider in terms of the implementation of the 7 P's. We have already discussed the fact that these 7 P's are in the form of not only the product, price, place and promotion, but apart from the 4 conventional P's which are basically being relevant in the manufacturing of the physical commodities. Apart from it, in the case of the services, we are also being concerned towards the 3 more P's, and that are being concerned towards the involvement of the people, process and physical evidence. So, here the people, process and physical evidence, they play a very important role, and we are saying that the significance or the importance of the services can be discussed with the fact that here we have to build up a credible relationship, that lasting relationship with our customers, with our target audience, so that that relationship will be defined in terms of the brand loyalty. We have to create a strong brand identity, we have to create a strong brand identity and loyalty, then only our customers will be giving out or it will be developing out a loyalty factor, and they will be just sticking out their purchase behavior towards the consumption of our services only. Now, this service positioning is also having a profound influence, because here we are seeing that we are continuously evolving, we are growing out, and this evolvement, this transformation in terms of any kind of economic changes, in terms of the industrial policies, in terms of the competitive element that we are generating, that we are experiencing, in the way the customers' expectations and aspirations are changing, in the sense wherein the stakeholders are showing out their interest to know the functionality of your service organization, of your business firm. All these kind of variables has to be borne in the mind by the service marketer. Then only they will be creating and they will be crafting and designing out their 7 P's more effectively as compared to the yesteryears, and that effectiveness will be seen in terms of the more customer footfalls and more customers database. So, this is all about the importance. Now, moving on the next slide. Now, here what are the strategies that can be pursued and that has to be deployed by the service firm, by the marketer? What are the important strategies through which the positioning of the services can be done diligently and effectively? So, very first point, it shows out the fact that here we have to identify out our unique value proposition. Now, the strategy shows that the very first as the strategy, that is we as a provider, we have to identify out our unique value proposition. That uniqueness is in the terms of, firstly we have to just recognize that our unique value, what is our unique value proposition, and which means that understanding what sets you apart from the others who are there in the market area and how it is delivering value to the customers. So, once you are pinpointing your unique value proposition, you can use it to build a distinct brand image that distinguishes you from the competition. So, this is very important, that is the identification of the unique selling proposition. Many times it is being seen that the provider, they themselves are not knowing about the distinctness of the offerings that they are trying to dispose of in the market area. So, here firstly you have to work out as an effective and an agile marketer, you have to work out with regard to understanding, with regard to identifying the core benefits and the core values that you are trying to offer in the market area to your target audience. Then only if you as a marketer and a provider, you are able enough to understand, to identify, to explore out the core benefits and the core utilities that you are trying to dispose out to your target audience, then only you will be able to create a distinct image. This is the point that is giving you the fact that when you are understanding, when you are identifying, when you are analyzing the distinct and the unique kind of benefits, the unique utilities, the unique functions, the unique kind of proposition which is being delivered by your offerings to your prospective clients, to your target audience, then only you will be able to differentiate out your offerings from the rest of the competitors' offering. So, that is what is being said, that uniqueness should be identified by you firstly as a service provider, and then that uniqueness will be properly delivered out to your target audience, and you will be helping us out towards building a distinct brand image in the competitive scenario. And definitely that will be also a kind of weapon to gauge upon towards creation of a distinct image and towards creation of a strategy of making out a differentiation with the rest of the offerings that is there available in the market area. Now, the second point, it shows out the fact that here the targeting the right audience. As in a service provider, what we have to do is that this is yet another key element in the service positioning, is the targeting of the appropriate audience. Different customer segments may have varying needs and the preferences. So, it is vital to identify who are your target audience, what they seek. By understanding your audience, you can develop a service positioning strategy that resonates with them and meets with their specific requirements. Now, understanding the right audience. If you remember, if we have discussed 3 of the strategies that is being pursued by any of the marketer, whether marketer is being engaged in manufacturing of the physical commodities, or whether the manufacturer is being engaged, whether the producer is offering you the services. So, here the 3 of the strategies are in the form of the segmentation, targeting and positioning, the last positioning that we are referring to in today's session. So, here the very first strategy, that is the segmentation. We know that this segmentation, the normal meaning of the word segmentation is the division. Now, why this division is being necessary, or why this is being needed? We know that it is not feasible and it is not pragmatic enough for any kind of manufacturer or the producer to go in for the satisfaction and the gratification of the divergent set of needs of each and every human being. It is not possible enough, definitely. So, what we can do is that we have to just come out with an appropriate solution, and that solution is what is being talked of in the sense of the segmentation. Here, as in a provider of the services, as in a provider of the physical commodities, we have to just ensure that these heterogeneous group of people who are living in the society, they have to be identified, they have to be explored, and we have to find out a common resemblance amongst their likings and dislikings, among their aspirations, among their psychographic features. Even then, apart from these kind of psychographic variables, like the psychographic variables in the form of the motivation, their perception, their learning, their attitudes, the way they think, the beliefs, opinions they hold on towards a certain phenomena, towards an object, towards a process, how they behave, how they develop out an attitude. All these are the psychological variables which can be studied and which can be treated as one of the criteria towards segmenting out their heterogeneous market area. Now, this is one of the classification, this is one of the parameter to classify out your heterogeneous market area. There can be other parameters. Depending upon your feasibility, depending upon your convenience and your discretion, you may go in for selection of any of the criteria, any of the method towards making out an appropriate mechanism and finding out a common resemblance amongst the divergent set of the needs and the aspirations which the people are showing out in the society in the purchase process of the services or towards the consumption of the services. So, here either we may go in terms of the finding out a common resemblance in terms of the psychographic features. Demographic features may also be taken into consideration, that like the age factor, the education, the marital status, the education factor, the occupation in which they are living out. The economic determinants can also be taken as one of the factors towards finding out a common resemblance. Similarly, the age. Apart from it, we can go in for taking out the help of variables which are in the form of the like socio-economic factors or the cultural beliefs. Or even if the buying pattern with the customers and the consumers are showing out in terms of their loyalty, the way they are moving in for the purchase decision, how frequently they are moving in for the purchase decision, or even if apart from it we can take out a parameter wherein the customers are showing out a loyalty pattern. How much loyal they are towards the offering which is being given out by the service provider, and how frequently they are purchasing and consuming out those offerings. This can also be taken as a parameter towards adopting or deploying a segmentation strategy. So, this segmentation is very much being thought of as one of the step towards finding out a common homogeneous group of the people over whom you can make out your effort in terms of the crafting of the 7 of the P's. Now, we know that these 7 P's that is being deployed by any firm, the firm which is being engaged in the manufacturing of the products or the service providers, they are basically the 7 P's are being used in case of the service providers. So, here the service providers has to ensure that they are crafting and developing out the strategies very diligently, very beautifully in order to personalize or sometimes in order to customize out their offerings to their selected chosen segment. So, this is in a segmentation strategy wherein we are just finding out a right kind of audience. So, finding out the right audience, this point says that we have to firstly go in for the selection of the heterogeneous group of the market area, that is by deploying out the strategy of the segmentation. Thereafter, after segmentation, the service provider, every business organization, they just beautifully they go in for the second step, and that second step is all being related within a targeting. After identifying and exploring out your customer, you have to target them out. You have to target means you have to just these 7 P's, that is you have to craft out your 7 P's in the form of the product, price, place and promotion and people, process and physical evidence towards giving them a customized way, towards giving them a customized experience, a customized memorable cherished moments which they can treasure enough in the years to come. And if they are very much being if they are having a delightment factor, they are very much being satisfied enough with the after the consumption and the purchase of the after the purchase and the consumption of your offerings, definitely they will be showing out in a brand loyalty for you in the years to come, and they will be sticking out to your brand. So, the right kind of audience, it's all being related towards defining out the customer segments, having out a varied needs and preferences, selecting out your target audience, and this selection is also being very much being important enough because we are having a limited resources at our disposal, and that is is being used in the alternative forms. So, if every organization is having already limited resources at their disposal in terms of the 6 M's, that is men, machine, material, money, method, market. These 6 M's, they have to be deployed in a very efficient and in a judicious way, because our rationality has to be proven. We have to be, we have to prove out our efficiency, our effectiveness in terms of the utilization of these scarce resources in the best possible way. So, understanding out the right audience is also one of the strategy that is being pursued by the service provider in order to craft out their position of their offerings into the minds of the prospects in the best possible way. Developing a good positioning strategy. That good positioning strategy should be in consonance with meeting out the expectations and the aspirations of your target audience. So, that is what is being written in the slide, that resonates with them. Resonating your offerings in terms of meeting out the expectations and the aspirations of your target audience. Now, moving to the next slide. Here, this is also one of the strategy that is being talked of in terms of communicating your brand image. Now, this says that after defining your unique value proposition and target audience, the next step is to effectively communicate your brand image. This involves crafting a clear and consistent message across all the marketing channels, including your website, social media and advertising efforts. By effectively conveying your brand image, you can build trust and credibility with your audience and solidify your brand identity. Now, communicating your brand image. This is also one of the technique, one of the strategy being deployed by the marketer or the service provider. Here we are saying that after identifying out your unique selling proposition of the services that you are trying to offer in the market area, you are just trying to define the target audience also, you have explored your target audience also, you have identified your target audience. So, identification of the unique selling proposition, exploration of the target audience over whom you want to target out your efforts in terms of the 7 P's. The next step or the next strategy that has to be born in the mind by the marketers is to communicate the information of your brand image. The brand image that you are trying to propose out in the market area through which you are trying to your effort is all being related with the creation of that unique brand image should be informed to your target audience. So, that information, that creation of the awareness may be done in any of the way. Either you may go in for print media or the broadcast media. In today's changing environment, many times we are just trying to take out the substantial help from the digital contents. the social media contents is being used, because we know that each and every consumer and the customer, they are fully aware with regard to different changes that are happening in the environment in terms of the prices, in terms of the purchase process. Their purchase process are getting affected in terms of the alternative brands that they are having on, in view of the different kind of alternative set of brands, in view of the different kind of alternative sets of values that are being created by the marketer. So here the way you are informing towards the unique value proposition that you have created, towards the target audience that you have selected, it all depends upon different kind of factors, like the factors which are internal in nature, the factors which are external in nature. The internal factors are those factors over which you are having certain kind of command, and those factors over which you are not having any kind of command, or which are not being within your purview, which is not working within the ambit of your organizational structure, they are being classified as an external factors or the macro factors. As an effective provider of the services, you have to just ensure that both the variables, that is internal variables and external variables, has to be chalked out very efficiently. Then only you will be coming out within a crafting out in a good procedural plans towards making out which media to choose for your chosen target segment, because your resources are limited. Your resources in terms of choosing out in a particular mode of information, like you may go in for the print, or you may go in for the broadcast, or the digital content can also be used. But what about the target audience, whether they are equally being informed about the chosen segment, whether they are accessible enough towards the way you are trying to inform them, whether they are having that worthiness, whether they are having that capability towards assimilating the information that you are channelizing out to them, with regard to the creation of the unique value proposition that you are trying to offer. So that all these factors has to be borne by you as a service provider, then only you will be in alignment with the things that you are trying to generate in the market scenario, and the expectations of the customer's audience, the target audience, will also be met to a larger extent. Now, building out the trust and credibility, definitely if you have created a unique selling proposition, your target audience you have defined, you are trying to effectively communicate about the value of your brand to your chosen target segment, that will definitely lead towards building out a greater credibility towards your audience, and that will be helping you out towards building out a solidified image of your brand identity. Now, the next strategy is all being related within a exceptional service. You as a provider, you are providing the target audience with exceptional service. Now, it says that lastly, delivering the exceptional service is a crucial aspect of the service positioning. Your brand image is only as strong as the service you provide. So, focusing on delivering a high quality experience that meets or exceeds the customer expectations is essential. By offering outstanding service, you can reinforce your brand image and cultivate a loyal customer base. Now, delivering the exceptional service is very important aspect of the service positioning, because the brand image, because your brand image is only as strong as the service you provide. So, focusing on delivering the high quality experience that is meeting or exceeding the customer's expectations is essential. Definitely, this point says, or this strategy says, that we have to provide an exceptional service. Exceptional service in the sense that we know that the offerings that we are delivering and that we are disposing of in the market area, their alternative options, their substitutes are there available in the market. So, how to just figure out, how to just chalk out that your offering is somewhat being different from the rest of the offerings. Here you have to create a uniqueness. Here you have to go in for a certain kind of innovative approach, certain kind of creative approach, wherein you are giving more add-ons to your customers, to your target audience. Then only they will be able to differentiate out your offerings from the rest of the rivals, that we are getting something new, that we are getting something extra as compared to the offerings that we are consuming right now from the competitors' offering. If we are purchasing, they are consuming out the offerings of the competitors. So, that add-ons are very much being needed enough, because that will be a form of strategy, that will be a form of instrument. We can say that will be in a form of the instrument that will be helping you out to create a exceptional kind of service, or you are giving it a unique kind of creation of the unique kind of brand image. So, delivering the exceptional service, sometimes going out of the box, you are thinking out of the box, you are going out of the way and giving your customers a personalized approach which is as much being unique enough, not being expected by you, by the customers from you, because we know that if a product is being understood, the product is not only being understood in terms of the core benefits that we are getting with the purchase and the consumption of those particular product, physical product, or the services, that here we are referring to the services. So, here the services are not only in the form of the core benefits or the core generic benefits that we are experiencing in terms of the consumption of those particular service. But apart from the core benefits, there are other kinds of the levels of the product which is being experienced, and these are in the form of the expected product which the customers are expecting from the service provider. Similarly, the other kind of levels of the benefits or the experiences which the customers are expecting. Apart from the expectation, they are holding out certain kind of preference in the form of the augmented level of the product. Similarly, after the augmented level of the product, you as a provider, you are giving out certain kind of new add-ons that are not already being it was not being thought of by the customers at that particular point of time, and that is in a level of product that is being talked of as a potential product. So, that is in a level. Here we are saying that the exceptional service is being related in the sense of making certain kind of improvisations, making certain kind of additions and deletions in the last level of the product, that is being related as, and that is being talked of as the potential one. That is, potential word itself is being related with the future course of action. So, as an agile and effective marketer, if you are creating something new as distinct from the competitors' thought of action, you are generating something new, you are making certain kind of improvisations in the taking into consideration the future course of action that the other rivals have not done it before in the earlier course of action, then this particular kind of a strategy that you are trying to develop and you are trying to offer the target audience will be talked of as an exceptional service, and that will be done, that may be done in the form of the augmented level of the product, or that may be done in the form of the potential level of the product. So, this exceptional service is having a profound influence towards building out a credible relation with the target audience, and that credibility will be defined in terms of making on a repetitive purchase behavior and the consuming of your services again and again in the later course of action. Moving to the next slide. Now, this slide is all being related with a conclusion what we have read in or what we have discussed in our discussion in today's discussion, and this says that service positioning is a vital marketing strategy for business within the service industry. By identifying your unique value proposition, targeting the right audience, effectively communicating a brand image, providing exceptional service, you are setting your brand apart from the competitors and establishing a brand that is strong enough to be present in the market area. With these strategies in place, you will be on your way to develop a successful service positioning strategy that drives the business growth. Now, in the conclusion, we are seeing that whatever we have discussed regarding the positioning of the services in terms of drafting of the strategy, that is creating a unique value proposition, identifying out your target audience, then creating effectively communicating the value to your communicating the brand value to your target audience, giving them some exceptional service as being distinct from the competitor's service, or wherein the competitors have not thought in before in the earlier course of action, and you have just find out an untouched area and you are giving them some exceptional service that is not yet being done by the your rivals in the earlier course of action. So, that is all these strategies, they are definitely, they will be creating a profound influence towards building a loyal and a credible relationship with your customers to cherish for a longer period of time. Because we as a service provider or as an organization, we are constantly evolving, we are growing, we are transforming our business organization many a times in terms of outgrowing ourselves, in terms of adding out the product line, in terms of adding more items to the product line, in terms of diversifying and expanding out our product portfolio, in terms of expanding the product depth and product consistency. The width is also being expanded, the exploration of the new market area, the more frequent use of the offerings that we are trying to dispose of the target audience. All these improvisations, all these add-ons and innovations and the creations are being done in your offering, and that is definitely that is being done in order to create a uniqueness factor, in order to give the distinct image to your defined customers, so that the customers are thinking of that we as a customer, we are getting something new at every point of time by paying the same amount of price. because what we are witnessing right now in today's competitive scenario, we are witnessing that each and every customer, each and every consumer, they are becoming price conscious, they are very much being price sensitive. Before moving for the purchase and the consumption of a particular offering, they are trying to evaluate each and every pros and cons in terms of the efforts they are making on, in terms of the efforts, not only in terms of the price factor that is quantifiable in nature, but the effort in terms of the time, talent and the treasure that they are putting in for the purchase process. So, this is a very important strategy that has to be looked in for by the service provider, and we have discussed that in our discussion, in today's our discussion, the positioning of the services is very important, and the strategies that has being deployed by the service provider is the need of the hour in today's competitive scenario. So, with this I am ending up my session here only. I hope you have understood the concept of the positioning of the services. And in the next discourse we will be dealing with the next new topic that is all being related with the pricing of the services. So, I hope that you have understood. So, till then thank you all for joining. Stay safe and stay blessed.